Okay, so next, @test annotation. So @test defines it's a test case. So test means it's a test case. You can mark the class or a method as a test case. If you just write above @test, that's a test case. So how to write @test? Public void method name, and you can put all the test steps here. So this will be treated as a test case. Then what are the keywords you can use for the @test keyword? So we have a data provider annotation keyword. So this data provider name of the data provider for the test method. This keyword is used to map between @data provider and @test. So @test, so data provider equal to data provider name or data provider method name. So that's the data provider, how you will write. So depends on groups. Depends on groups. So are you clear on this? How to map the data provider and test method? @test. So data provider equal to data provider name or data provider method name. So depends on groups. The list of groups this test method depends on. That means this method depends on this group. First, this group will execute. If it is successful, then it will come to this test method, then it will execute. Suppose if this group, any one test case failed, then this will skip automatically. It won't execute. That's the depends on groups means. Then depends on methods. The list of methods, this method depends on. This is a very important concept. How can you set the dependence among test methods? You can set the dependence among test methods using @test depends on methods. So curly bracket inside method name 1, comma method name 2, or one method also you can give, not necessary 2. One method name also you can give. That means this method depends on this method. If this method will execute first and successful, then this method will execute. If this method is not successful, then this method is not going to execute. That method is not going to execute anymore. So that's the depends on methods concept. Then always run equal to true. So if we set to true, this test method will always be run, even it depends on method fails also. For example, generally what I told here, if this method fails, this won't execute, right? But if you write always run equal to true, even this T method fails also, the T1 will execute because of this one. Good. That's the always run means always it executes. Next, description. So you can describe the method @test description equal to write small description and enabled. So whether the methods on this class method are enabled or not. So you want to skip particular test case, you can just write @test enabled equal to false. Then this test method will skip automatically. It won't execute currently. If you make it a true, and then it will pick up for execution. So temporarily you don't want to execute, you want to stop that. Instead of commenting out, you can just write like this, @test enabled equal to false. Then that test method will not so execute. That's the @test enabled equal to false. Expected exceptions. Some exceptions you are expecting. So the list of exceptions that a test method is expected to throw, then so you can write this @test expected exceptions equal to, so E1 and E2, you can specify which exceptions you are expecting, that will be written to you. And Groups, the list of groups, this class or method belongs to, and you want to categorize your test cases, then you can use groups concept. So grouping is mandatory, right? So otherwise, all test cases will be treated as the same test cases. So how can you group? You have to write @test groups equal to group name. That means this method belongs to this group. That's how you can categorize groups the test cases using groups keyword. You can categorize like this: @test groups equal to smoke, priority equal to 1, description. Multiple keywords, how you can separate? With comma. With comma. Okay. So you can give multiple keywords. So @test multiple keywords you can use. So that's the how you can write multiple keywords with separating with comma. I'll see this key value. So you have to write parenthesis inside @test parenthesis inside key and value.
Key value.
Multiple one. You can declare this method, maybe you can map to multiple groups also. So group 1, group 2, like that. So if once you create a groups, you categorize it the test cases, then how can you run them? So then we have a include tag and exclude tag. So include tag tells you to the TestNG.xml, okay, pick that group test case. Exclude tag tells that, so which group you want to skip. So that group will skip it. Not only for groups, this include and exclude tags, even methods also. Class inside methods will be there, right? Different methods you have. That methods also you can skip and you can include by include tag and exclude tag. So you can use suit name, suit of groups, parallel equal to none, test name, test groups, and groups tag, run, include name, smoke, exclude name, regression, and close the run tag, and groups, close the groups tag, classes tag, and so close the class tag. So this is the, see, that means these groups are available in these test cases, in these classes, So that means you are telling, okay, include only smoke test cases from these 2 test cases. Exclude all the regression group related test cases from these classes. That's the meaning of this groups. But when you create a suit file, you won't get these things. You will get only suit tag, test tag, classes tag, and these things only will get. But this one you have to write. That's the how to include and exclude groups. And also same, we have invocation count. So very important, invocation count means the number of times this method should be invoked. How many times your method should invoke? You want to run same test case multiple times. You write @test invocation count equal to 3. That means this test method will execute 3 times. After 3 runs, then it will go to next test method. That's the same test method you want to repeat multiple times. You have to use invocation count. Next, we have a success percentage. The percentage of success expected from this method. Timeout. The maximum number of milliseconds this test should take. So at the rate test, timeout equal to 3000 milliseconds. So thread pool size, and the size of the thread pool for this method, how many threads you want to specify by invocation count, then you can use thread pool size. So most important is priority. Priority is how can you prioritize your test cases? So in JNet, we don't have, right, this option. So you can prioritize your test cases based on the priority keyword. So at the rate test, priority equal to 1, public void T1, at the rate test, priority equal to 2, public void L1. So that's the priority keyword. So how to specify particular class methods using include and exclude tags? You want to specify particular class methods. So say suit tag name equal to name of the suit, test tag name equal to regression 1, groups, run, exclude broken test, include name check-in test. Just giving a group names. This is the group names. Okay. And then these groups are available in these classes. So in this class also, see methods, class tag after methods tag. Methods tag inside include tag. Okay. This method you include. Exclude name test. So methods. So that means this class inside include this test method, exclude this test method. So that's the methods tag. Then close the class tag. So that's a class tag will end. Then class name. So this is the test dot independent test. So classes tag. Test tag, suit tag. So test tag and suit tag. So that's all about how you can specify even methods also, include and exclude you can use. Why you will use include tag and exclude tag? Hmm? You are not listening. Why you will use include and exclude? Then why are you silent? You are not asking. What is meant by include, Andy?
Include means which test
consist
data we have to execute that test tag we have to include.
Execute.
And exclude means which test we have to skip, which one we have to skip, we have to add in exclude.
Okay. So I think you are not, you're not concentrating on the class. Clearly shows that. We're not listening properly. Only 2 are people listening. I want to ask the switch on all the videos. I want to see what you are doing. Otherwise, this is not going to work out. What, madams? It's not fair, right? And even you are still not asking the questions also. Okay. So how to run tests parallelly, classes parallelly, methods parallelly, just parallel attribute. In the suit tag, you have to use a parallel attribute. So just write suit tag, name, and parallel attribute equal to methods, then methods will run parallelly. Parallel equal to test, if you write test tags, you will run parallelly. Parallel equal to classes, if you write classes will run parallelly. Parallel equal to instances, instances will run parallelly. So that's the all the parallel execution, how you can do parallel execution in test in Selenium. If anybody asks you, you need to tell. So you have to use a parallel attribute equal to classes, or parallel attribute equal to tests, or parallel attribute equal to methods. So which one you want to run parallelly, you decide and tell them. So based on the question, what they're asking. Then last one, we have assertions. So we have assertions like, you have a, so hard assert and soft assert, we have two types of assertions we have. And these are all hard assertions. Assert equals, assert true, and these are the hard assertions. So hard assertions are basically assert equals will compare expected result and actual result. Assert true, you have to give Boolean command. Boolean command you have to give. These are all methods, static methods in the assert class. So in TestNG also you have a assertions, assert class. And soft assertions using TestNG. You can see, so soft assertion means the test doesn't stop running even an assertion fails. So it will continue. That's the soft assert. Hard assert means, so it will stop. So wherever the assertion fails, it will stop there only. That's a hard assert. So this is the differences mainly. So keep remember them. And so you have, if you're using soft assert, you have to create an object for soft assert class. So then, and at the end of each method, you can put a soft assert. And then at the end of the method, you have to write assert all. Assert all. This is the mandatory to assert all the soft assertions in each test method, whatever all there. All will be asserted at the end by assert all method. How can you run the failed test cases? So once you run the TestNG test case, you will get a test output folder in the project directory. So that directory, you will get a one more file, testng-fail.xml file. testng-fail.xml file will generate. So this file have already failed methods, it will include automatically to you. Then you correct your test case by seeing the logs. Then you can right click and run as a suite. Then it will run the only failed test cases. That's how to run failed test cases in your Selenium automation. So these are all the theoretical wise. This is the very, very crucial. They will ask mostly on the priority and so how can you skip the test cases? How can you set the dependency? How can you do a grouping? How can you do a data-driven testing? How can you supply parameters from XML file? Make sure you have all the answers for the questions I have listed out now. And then what is the difference between before test and before method? Okay, so if you want more questions, go and refer this. So you have more questions here, right? And that's it for the day. Tomorrow we'll see programs.